Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
All right, it is 11:07 on a Tuesday. Thank you very much for being here on The Lock Shop on Edmonton Sports Talk over on YouTube, obviously. And you can hit us up on TuneIn, iHeart, or at edmontonsportstalk.com. You can text us anytime at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. DJ Paterson already over on Twitter, give me the gears. Says, should I even listen? Nielson said Edwards was going to get over 29.5 points last night. And how about that? The Denver Nuggets lose by 26 at home, and Anthony Edwards only has 27 points in that basketball game. I did not see that coming, Huss. What's up, buddy?
Well, what's up is I am officially very concerned about my Nuggets futures.
Oh, you should be, buddy.
That's what's up. Listen, I gave them a mulligan in game one. And I'm thinking, okay, this is the Nuggets. I mean, they'll come back. They'll pound them last night. And then, kind of take that momentum into Minnesota and show a young team what it is like to have a championship pedigree and be the best team in the West and be the best team in the NBA and exert that. That not only did that not happen, the Nuggets were put into it was almost like wrestling. They were put into a chokehold, a sleeper, if you will. Their ability to generate offense completely taken away. And what's even more nuts is that Rudy Gobert, who's up for DPOY, wasn't even there.
Wasn't even in the game. Yes.
Like the guy that they traded 3 first or 4 first-round picks for his defense didn't play last night. And it didn't take 45 points from Anthony Edwards to get it done. Never mind concern. I'm actually gone straight to panic mode right now as far as that goes. Now, we saw the Dallas Stars lose the first 2 games at home, come back and turn the series around and end up getting it done in 7. But it certainly does create a fascinating game 3, Dusty, in that, I mean, you'd have to say that the Denver Nuggets are playing for their life. And the line, like yesterday, the Nuggets were still a heavy, heavy favorite in that game. Everything is flipped right now. Nuggets plus 158 on the road in game number 3. And the series price right now, maybe this is the time to double or triple down if you really feel it. Plus 445 for the Nuggets. And the T-Wolves minus 667. This is, listen, as great as the T-Wolves have been, I'm guilty as anyone. Probably haven't watched them enough, but they are for real, and they are a serious problem for a team that had their sights on repeating.
I would not double down on this, Huss. I would not double down. I was talking to Matty Iwanek yesterday, and after watching game 1, and I watched a good chunk of game 1, Matty yesterday was just like, I'm mixing in some more Nuggets futures here. I think they're going to bounce back for game 2. I said, I'd be careful. Like they've got a couple of, that's the most impressive thing about last night. Not that Gobert is like this phenomenal superstar or anything, but it's another big body that you can use to defend on Jokic. And they didn't even have him last night. And the Nuggets just like they've become unraveled. Like you see Jamal Murray throw that ice bag onto the court while the play was on. Like, what the hell is he doing? It's just you haven't seen the Nuggets deal with any adversity through all of last year's playoffs and then the first round this year, and they're just not handling it very well right now. I didn't see them losing in this type of fashion. But here we are. So let's see how it plays out the rest of the way. But I mean, Edwards has a couple of big games still in his back pocket, and they only need 2 of them to put this series away. So Minnesota's, they haven't lost in the playoffs yet. They're 6-0, and they're 6-0 against the spread. Like they've been outstanding so far.
It was just a brutal Monday all around, personally and in the lock shop. I mean, Florida goes up early, and then Boston, credit to them. I mean, I know we'll kind of get into that in the rest of the NHL story. I mean, they they really carried that momentum from Game 7 with the short turnaround right into Game 1.
Yep.
And I will be honest, if I'd known that Brandon Carlo was going to be in such a major baby swag situation, I maybe would have considered it a little differently, or at least taken a flyer on a goal. How about that? He goes bar down hours after becoming a dad and showing up. But anyways, that game finished, and I'd sort of forgot about that the Nuggets game was later on. I tuned in, and it was like 62-35 or something like that. And they never really pressed at all. I mean, that crowd was completely stunned. And I get it. I mean, when you've been treated to the level of play that the Nuggets and Jokic have done for the last number of years, you don't expect the upstart T-Wolves to come in and hand you your lunch on home court once, never mind twice. So a real stunning start to that series out in the West, Dusty. That's as I said, panic mode engaged for myself and Iwanek. What did Iwanek have today?
What's that?
Is Iwanek right where I am?
Well, I haven't had a chance to talk with him because he comes in, goes on the hangout, and then I go back on here. So I usually don't talk to Matty till after 1:00. But like a couple, look at this Yag Welder guy. He goes, I just put money down on the Nugs. So he's riding with it. Cracker Jack says the Nuggets are coming back. They can have 2 off games. They aren't folding like a cheap tent. I think we do have to remember, though, that Jamal Murray.
Yes. That's what I needed to hear, you guys.
Well, but I don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. They're not. I don't see them winning. Like Jamal Murray, we saw him get banged up, then have that great Game 5 against the Lakers. And I don't know what happened to him, but he looks like a shadow of what he was against the Los Angeles Lakers. Like he had, what did he have last night? 3 field goals, and then flashed a money sign to the officials and threw a bag onto the floor mid-game. Like he's completely unraveled here, and I just don't know if Jamal Murray can get that back. So I would be very, very concerned. I mean, if you have the futures already, you're locked in, but you guys are crazy. Doubling down again on this. It's going to be a lot of fun. This has been a good series. And then, I mean, just quickly sticking with the NBA, then we can dive a little bit further into that Bruins-Panthers game, in which Swayman was unbelievable. The Knicks-Pacers, man, if you are not a basketball fan, and I know there's a lot of, like, I'm only a hockey guy, but keep tabs on the Knicks-Pacers because, A, first of all, great history between the two clubs, but B, this is going to be a phenomenal series. Like, Game 1 was excellent last night, Huss. I think we're going to get a lot more games like the one that we saw in Game 1 in that Knicks-Pacers series.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana is another one of those teams that you never see on national TV. But I'm sort of listen, if you're a Raptors fan or someone that's watched the Raptors just because they're on television, this will be of interest to you because you got Pascal Siakam going up against OG on the other side. But there's some big time plays. Halliburton's an absolute stud. And the Brunson story, I mean, what a whiff by Dallas not getting him signed. He has been the catalyst in a complete turnaround to welcome the Knicks back to legitimacy in the East. And hey, nice win at MSG for the Knicks. They'll get a chance to go up 2-0, but certainly very, very entertaining. And to be honest, I think maybe the most fun series of them all might be one that's starting tonight with the Dallas Mavericks going up against the OKC Thunder.
Oh, that should be a good series. SGA, Luka. Yeah, the second round of the NBA playoffs is turning out to be pretty damn good, assuming the Nuggets can push back here against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, what are the numbers on that series right now with Dallas OKC?
I was just about to say, like, you follow it quite closely. What do you think? Like, if you were making the odds on this series.
Yeah, I have not looked this up. If I was making the odds on this series, I'd probably have OKC minus 160 to 175-ish.
You're going to like this then. Good value on OKC. Minus 120.
Minus 120.
Minus 120
Wow.
and the Mavs minus 102.
Yeah, that is pretty good value on OKC then. I mean, the Thunder, I know they're a young team and maybe they're looking at like the veteran play of Luka and and Kyrie being a difference in that. But they're a young and very good team, and SGA is just an absolute killer. So yeah, that's man, that is better value than I thought we'd see on the OKC Thunder in that series. But you're right, that could be a great. I mean, that should be a great series.
Mavs basically even money, minus 102 for the Mavs on the series. Here's another way to play it. Going into game one tonight, you can have the Thunder to win game one. They are at home, but the Thunder to win tonight and the Thunder to win the series at plus 127. So instead of laying minus 120 on the series, if you think they win tonight and win the series, you can get it at plus 127. The Mavs to win game one and Mavs to win the series is plus 225. And then these are kind of more exotics, if you will. Thunder to win tonight, but Dallas to win the series is plus 325. Mavericks to win game one and OKC to win the series is plus 570. But I do not mind the plus 127. Like, here's the thing about Dallas, from what I can tell. Luka's Luka. I mean, incredible superstar. Kyrie Irving, for what a disaster he was last year and everywhere that he's been, actually seems to be locked in, really productive right now.
Looks like a really good fit in Dallas right now, doesn't it? We haven't said that about Kyrie in quite some time.
Well, it was such a disaster last year. I mean, remember, we were wondering whether they were even gonna, they gave up all that to get him. Did they even bring him back? I mean, did they go somewhere else? But I think he realized he needed to sort of figure it out and fit in somewhere. Otherwise, he was going to get a reputation that just completely sunk his entire career. You got Lou Dort, you've got SGA. I mean, certainly as a Canadian fan that's looking forward to Paris and the Olympics, this is going to be great to see a couple of the guys that are going to be major, major players on our Olympic team. I've always loved the Mavs, and I'm a big Luka Doncic guy, but I'm riding with OKC in this series. And I'll tell you what, I think they're going to be ready to go for game number one. Dallas had a much tougher time in the first round. They basically had a 4-game just walk over the Pelicans. So plus 127. I think I was going to take the OKC anyways, but let's get a little greedy and try and see them to win tonight and get that to plus money with plus 127 on OKC to win tonight and win the series.
I don't know if we've ever rolled this long on the association to start a lock shop, but I'm loving it. We are going to get to the 2 games tonight. I was just looking at the NBA futures right now. The Celtics are plus 105 favorites to win the title. T-Wolves are now at 3-1. The Thunder are 8-1. The Knicks are 10-1. The Mavs are 11-1. The Denver Nuggets 12-1 right now, being down 2-0 in that series. And then the Western Conference winner right now, the T-Wolves, considering where they're at in this series right now, minus 115. The Thunder are plus 275. The Mavericks are plus 425. And the Denver Nuggets, just to win the West, plus 550, which would be to come back in this series and to beat the winner of the Dallas OKC series at plus 550. So, I mean, if you are out there being like, I'm not done with the Nugs yet, gonna side with Joker here to go off a little bit, maybe Jamal Murray to find that playoff swag that he usually has. There is value out there. There is value out there on the Nugs right now, but you have to swallow it and know that they have to win 4 of the next 5 here against Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves, who are 6-0 in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, listen, I wouldn't even touch that West number at plus 550. Like, if you think the Mavs can get, or the Nuggets can get off the mat and win this series, don't worry about winning another series. Take plus 445 right now.
Just so, win
this series. Because to be honest, I think once you get through that, like, if they're able to somehow come back and survive, you'll still have a pretty good number on that next series, regardless of whether it's OKC or Dallas in the first round. Oh, shout out to our pal Damon Bunting.
Yeah, he was in on the hangout today. He was just in on the hangout.
Oh, was he? Nice.
Yeah, he's standing right over here. He's still talking to the boys. I saw he sent that picture to us. I mean, we are looking good. You're looking sharp. I got the haircut yesterday. Nice. I'm feeling pretty fresh right now. So
nice cut, Dusty.
Yeah, thanks, man. I was telling the boys this morning, like, usually when I go get my haircut, I don't want to have conversation. Usually I'm like tired. It's like after the shows and stuff. And I'm like, just cut my hair. I want to go home. I don't want to talk. But the guy I had yesterday, just a great conversation. Like, we talked for like half an hour. I almost told him, I was like, take it lower. Like, just take it lower. I like where it's at now, but take it down lower. I want to keep talking with you. He was opening up about like other stories that other people had shared in the chair, and I was just like, this is fascinating stuff. It was
like you just went to a new place and got a new guy, or
well, no,
like,
I go to no, I don't. I mean, I usually go to the same place but rotate guys. So I don't really have a guy. I just kind of whoever's there that day, I sort of slide in. So sometimes the guys are super quiet. The one time I was in there, I brought Marshall for his first like big boy haircut. Usually he goes to this kid's place called Beaners. But he's like, Daddy, I want to go for a big boy haircut. I was like, all right. So he came in with me, got our first haircuts ever together. And the guy they gave him, I don't think had ever cut anybody's hair in his entire life. Like it was, I felt so bad for Marshall. I was like, you're getting guinea pigged over here. And then Tammy had to take him back to the kid's place to kind of get cleaned up. It wasn't a great look, but yeah, yes, lots of the times I go in there, the guys don't want to talk. This guy was, and I was up for the conversation. Like he had some great stories. It was good. So you got a go-to guy. Hey, like that's it. Good chats when you roll in. Like I never had that in my life.
You got to get a guy. You got to get a guy. And now we have shout out to WST sponsor Modern Man Barbershops here in Winnipeg. So there's 8 of them now. But there's a newer location that they built. And it's sort of funny because, over the years I've had a couple different guys, but my barber now, it is almost, sports to him is a language he does not understand. Now, for you who likes to go there and just shut up, which is a typical radio or sports talk guy, like, you know what, you do this for so much, and then you just kind of want to go and not talk about it. That's a big reason why I went to a bar for a long time where I'd just go, I'd slide myself, I'd sit at the wood and almost be like indiscreet. So like no one would see me or know there. So I wouldn't have to have those conversations. But the guy that I have now is not fluent in sports. Like he'll ask me a few things just for nuggets about the Jets and the Bombers that he can then use with other people who that's what they want to talk about. So I kind of give him just a minimal amount of information and then talk about weird stuff like dogs. And I learned stuff from him as well. But the bottom line is you got to get a guy. Once you get one, you may as well just go back and get the same one. I could see the start of a relationship with you and your guy. Like
it would be good.
Hey, let me know. Like I want to come back and Chet cut my hair last week.
That's where I go. How often do you go for a haircut?
Well, not enough, as you would notice. I mean, a lot of times, sometimes I'll just leave it and I'll leave it and I'll leave it. And then if you see me wearing a hat for a week, that's why it's just gotten to a point where, like, I'm not a guy that loves getting the haircut, but I don't mind it. You always feel good after it's done. It's just kind of scheduling it and making it happen.
Yeah.
I'm
like a once every sort of 6 weeks type of guy.
I should be that. I'm probably more like 9 or 10.
Yeah, and Tommy Gazzola is once a month to keep that hair looking the way it looks. Like he has a girl, Chantal. He goes in and she looks after him and everything. It's quite the process with Tommy G. You know
what? Speaking of that, you want some extra content for EST?
Of course we do.
You get Tommy G mic'd up when he goes for his haircuts, and we can just eavesdrop on his conversations with Chantal and styling. We might be able to put that shit on pay-per-view, to be perfectly honest with you. Tommy goes to the salon on ESP.
Take that.
Coming up next.
You thought the shop with LeBron was good. How about Tommy Gazzola with Chantal, right? Let's just take that to another level.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I just got a text from Reem. Tom's actually coming on with us today.
Oh, is he?
To talk some playoffs.
Wait, what time? What time though? Because we got a meeting at 1:00, 2:00 your time. Is he coming on before that?
Before then.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say. Hope he's not scheduling interviews right now.
I think between about 12:30 and 12:50 or so. I might have to dive into the whole Chantal issue.
Yeah. Although he got the haircut done last week, fresh cut still. So,
or just his theories and relationship with said, like, there's a lot of people that, and I'll put this out. This is a nice little question of the day for people in the chat. How long have you had your hairstylist / barber? And do you, first of all, do you always go to the same person? And how long has this relationship been the case? Does he pay in cash or in $50
Hudson's gift cards? Tommy basically only operates on Hudson's gift cards, which is good. GCL Diesel pre and post game show at Hudson's Bourbon Street tomorrow night. Edmonton Sports Talk watch party should be a lot of fun. What else? Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, when I was a kid, like in Cranbrook, it's different. Like when I was a kid, there was like 14,000 people in Cranbrook, and there was a barber, and his name was Roy. And like everybody just went to Roy. I would go there with my grandpa. I would go there with my dad. And but since then, when I first moved to town here, there was a cheap place right across from West Edmonton Mall that would charge $12.60 for a haircut. And since I worked at TSN 1260, I was like, this is hilarious. I paid $12.60 for a haircut. So I used to go there, but I've upgraded a little bit since then. So, and what do you tip a hair guy? What do you tip a barber? Like, what do you tip him? I tipped the guy yesterday very well because I enjoyed the conversation, but
yeah, I mean, usually it all depends on how much was the haircut?
$35.
Yeah, so you know what? If you really are thinking he was awesome, you can give him a 50, but you can always do, 40 if it was just whatever.
Yeah, I think I tipped 30% yesterday. Most I ever tipped my entire life, Huss. I think I did 30%. I think it took it up to about 50. So,
for your haircut, I've seen you roll in the club, Dusty. I know that's not true. But.
All right, now let's slide over. Let's move on now. National Hockey League, 2 games tonight. I know some people are asking about some like player totals for round 2 on this Oilers Canucks series. I did just fire a text to the Lock Shop boys, P. Greggy and Jake, and see if we are going to get some kind of player totals for round 2. If we're going to get them, we'll have them by tomorrow's episode of the Lock Shop for sure. Surveyor Brett says, can we get Tommy mic'd up when he goes to use the loofah in the hockey shower? Insane. Yeah, Tommy uses a loofah in the shower at hockey.
It's a loofah, like one of those big
exactly. Kind of no, it's like the little squishy soap spongy thing. You put this, it's like a little soap sponge. I have one. I use it at home in my basement shower, but I don't take it to hockey when I'm showering quickly with the rest of the boys. But Tommy's going full-blown loofah at hockey, which is wild.
What? Here's another Lock Shop. Maybe we could do a contest or something like this. What do you think in a month? What's the over-under on the amount of money in Canadian dollars that Tom Gazzola spends on beauty / grooming products?
In a month?
In a month. Hair, probably he's got some next level moisturizer to make him look 18.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because he did say that, like, in his hockey bag, he's got the shampoos, he's got the loofah, he's got the body wash, all that stuff, but he also carries lotion in his hockey bag to lotion up after the shower too. So, like, there's a lotion budget. There's not like Dustin Nielson is not carrying
lotion is included.
I'm not carrying a lotion budget around, right? Like that's just. I would say Tommy's probably pushing over $150 a month on that stuff. Is that a lot? I don't know.
Jen Cooley, Jen says over 200. Jen says over 200, and that could be. And the thing is, Tom's not getting. He's not using like the Costco lotion. Oh no, if they have that.
No, Tommy's thing comes on a ship from overseas.
Yeah. He probably gets it all from Cantel. Actually,
actually, he does. The one I know all about it. He gets a Swedish hair cream from Chantal. I'm not even making it up. That's the truth. So we've got that going for us. All right, National Hockey League. We did quickly hit on the Bruins-Panthers, but let's just circle back around there again. Wow, for the Boston Bruins to slide in there, keep that momentum rolling off of a Game 7 victory in which they sort of, I don't even know how much momentum they had. They hung on and squeaked one out against the Leafs and then go drop 5 on the Panthers last night, which was very surprising.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's actually given me major pause for thought on this Dallas-Colorado game tonight. Just, considering Dallas is in a very similar situation, going the distance in Game 7, and then right back at it. Although Dallas is going to be at home, Boston had to pick up and go on the road to Florida, to a team that was sitting there chilling, waiting for them. I mean, I still like Florida in this series. I still think they get it done. I think they are the better team, but I got to give credit where credit is due. I think the Boston Bruins turned what I think a lot of people thought this might be a short series into another slugfest similar to what we saw last year. Listen, I think the Panthers have another gear for sure. I think Bob can play better, but I was one of the many people, I mean, hand up for me. I kind of thought that regardless of who won between the Leafs and the Bruins, I didn't think the Panthers were going to have a very tough time. I was thinking maybe 5 games in this series. You lose the first game at home, and that sort of theory goes right out the window. So I'm just looking right now. Do we have... So the series price is not up right now for that one, unless I'm missing.
No, I'm not seeing it. I see the other 3 series right now.
I'm going to be interested getting into tomorrow's game as to what Florida will be. I think Florida's still going to be a favorite.
I was just going to ask you. I was like, do you think they'd still be a favorite? And I would lean towards Florida still being favorited in that series. But I also think it could be at a number where if you like Florida, you can hop on that tomorrow. I mean,
oh, absolutely. That's, I guess, my point when I was looking at it. I mean, because they were minus 200. You lose the first game at home, and that number's going to crater. I mean, we're probably talking, I will predict it, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm thinking maybe in and around minus 120, 115. I think that's sort of where Florida will be for the series.
I think that's a good spot. They are trailing. Remember, the Rangers were like minus 135, and they had a 1-0 series lead. But the Rangers would just continue to be disrespected.
They were
the whole
also
time, so.
underdogs. They were also underdogs in that series.
Okay, that's true
they
too.
weren't starting. They weren't starting. And well, let's just use the Denver Nuggets for an example.
Yeah,
like the Nuggets were around minus 2. I think they were an even bigger favorite than the Panthers were. Against Minnesota. And after they lost the first game at home, they were plus 113. And now, as we mentioned, they're plus 145. Now, again, I'm sure there's some differences between the way they handle NBA and NHL futures in Game 7 series beforehand. But we'll look at that. And again, I still think Florida wins this, but Boston showed up last night. And again, Carlo, like, I don't know what his number was. I know he probably wasn't even listed, to be honest, on the goal scorers. Because I don't think
he might not even been an option. That's a good point. You're right. Probably not. But he got one. Jake just texted me, by the way. Says he's asking about the Vancouver Edmonton player totals for round 2, and then also said that Florida-Boston series, the price will be back online shortly. So we can watch for that. Still to come our way. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. Couple of text messages quickly want to get to. One-Eyed Pete says, a $10 tip for haircuts. Tyler in Terwilliger texting and says, I've had the same lady cut my hair for over 25 years. I got my first ever haircut from her, and I'm still chugging. God love Nadine. So shout out to Nadine there. And then Coach Mike is referring to Tommy Gazzola as the Chaz Michael Michaels of the Edmonton sports media. Of course, Chaz Michael Michaels is figure skating and was very much aware of his verticoli, the comb for the horse mane that he was working with as well. So good text there, Coach Mike. Appreciate that. Hey, we do have. Let's give you a quick chance to get in here and qualify right now for this comedy giveaway, the Great Outdoors Comedy Fest. That is coming. Edmonton Sports Talk has a VIP table to all 3 nights. We are qualifying right now for the Friday night. Shane Gillis headlining the Friday night here at the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. All you have to do is text in winning. Text winning right now to 780-218-9999. Winning to 780-218-9999. And we will get you in the draw to be one of our qualifiers for the grand prize draw. Like 3 weeks of qualifying for this table, and then we'll do another 3 weeks for Saturday, another 3 weeks for Sunday. So if you want to get in on this, try to win a VIP table. It's a VIP table for 4 to the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, 780-218-9999. What are you laughing at?
Hey, speaking of the chat, so Matthew Marot says, the Tommy slander today is off the charts. I won't stand for this. He's not even here to defend himself. Make no mistake about it. This is not slander. These
are facts.
I mean, it sounds somewhat peculiar to some people, and we can get a chuckle out of it. But is there anybody that presents himself better than one Tom Gazzola?
No,
I mean, he's
nobody.
the envy. He's the envy of everyone. I mean, we should listen. If you have the 50 or 60 bones a month for the Swedish hair cream, I endorse it. Like, it's a Tommy Gazzola go-to right now. So yeah, no, love Tommy. And as I say, he's in a lot of ways, he's the he sets the bar for when it comes to presentation. That's why he's a TV guy, and we spent most of the time talking into microphones without even a YouTube stream.
The men want to be Tom Gazzola, and the women want to be with Tom Gazzola. It's just that simple. By the way, series price, back up, Huss. Florida Panthers, what'd you say? Minus 120?
I said between 115 and minus 120.
Florida Panthers plus 100 to win the series against the Boston Bruins right now. So nice number to jump in on the Panthers here if you still like them.
This might be in now. Rod's weighed in on the Tommy monthly expense budget for grooming products. 200 seems light. That could be. Oh, and Mitchie R, I think way more. The Swedish hair cream alone is probably 50. I'll say 350.
Oh, jeez.
It'd be interesting to get down. At this point, we spent enough time talking about it. We may have to inquire about that. I might ask Tom this on the WST today, to be honest, now that we spent enough time on this. But Rod Z said something yesterday in the chat, and I had sort of gone all in on Florida pounding either Florida or their Toronto or Boston. But I will say this. I had been holding this thought all season long, considering the way things went last year with Boston blowing the 3-1 lead and nearly scoring. I mean, we all remember Marchand with that clear-cut breakaway in Game 5 with 5 seconds left that would have ended it. Then losing an OT, losing Game 6, losing Game 7. But Rod Z, as I told you, can't count out Boston revenge. And Boston is now 7-1 in their last 8 as the dog versus a divisional foe. So yeah, and Zulu's in. Our Nuggets, Huss. Yeah, if you just popped in, we started off the show talking about Zulu. We're in full panic mode. Although if you still believe they're plus 445 to win the series, if you want to put a little more down. But like there is something to be said that for Boston after having that season last year and blowing that 3-1 lead, you know, you get through the scare against the Leafs and you almost do it again. They're now a big underdog. Like I think they're going to be probably playing a heck of a lot freer. And you know what else? I mean, while we're talking about Boston, Jeremy Swayman is on one right now.
Oh, he is 38 of 39 last night, buddy.
Yeah, 955 for the playoffs right now. And I'll tell you what, I mean, if he's going to rock at 950, they're going to win the series. I think that's pretty straightforward. Whether the Panthers can do that. Like, where are you at on this series now after Game 1?
I still like Florida. I like him at plus 100. I do think that, like, I'd still probably say Florida in 6. I still think Florida gets it done in 6. I think they can win 4 of the next 5 games. Boston, I mean, maybe I'm not giving enough credit to the Toronto Maple Leafs, making things extremely difficult for the Boston Bruins. But I just don't think Boston has what they need outside of Swayman. You're right. If Swayman stands on his F, he stops 38 of 39 every single game in this series, the Boston Bruins are going to win it. It's that simple. But I think Florida finds a way. So I still like Florida. I still like them in 6. So I definitely like them at plus 100 in that series for sure right now.
All right, well, let's get to these games tonight because I mean we're back to double headers, which is great. Do we know why the Oilers Canucks series waited so long to get going?
I do believe there was. I think this was dictated by the other Western Conference series because the Oilers Canucks series was going to start on Tuesday if Vegas won and Wednesday if Dallas won. So it was dictated in other in other markets. So that's why this series is starting on the Wednesday because the Dallas series had to go tonight apparently. So
I thought maybe there was something to do with building availability in Edmonton. Like Did you guys just have the WNBA game on the weekend?
We had the WNBA game. That was that one. They were going to move that, but then with the series not going, actually they did end up moving it. It was supposed to be on Sunday. I think they ended up doing it. Yeah, they ended up doing it on Saturday. And then wrestling is here tomorrow. So basically, what's happening? And there's somebody else is in the building on Friday, I think. So the first 2 games there will be no like in building watch party. Like they would bring in thousands of people to just watch the game at the rink, right, when they're on the road.
Of course, Vancouver's got home ice.
Yeah, Vancouver. Sorry, Vancouver has home ice. So the watch parties will not be happening inside the rink. They'll still have like mosh pit and another area. They'll have two outdoor parties downtown happening in the district. But we have Vancouver has home ice in this series, and obviously we'll get into that series a ton tomorrow here on the Lock Shop. But yeah, not until Wednesday. So we'll discuss that on Two Guys and a Goalie coming up here at noon. Curious on the long layoffs, which we can kind of tie into this Colorado game tonight as well. But if it impacts anybody, I wonder if it impacts goaltenders. So we'll get into that with Gager today on Two Guys and a Goalie. But as far as these tonight, we already seen game 2 here of the Hurricanes and Rangers. Then we'll get into Colorado and Dallas. Hurricanes at minus 120. Do you think they come out and get one tonight, or do the Rangers sort of just continue to roll along 5-0 in the playoffs so far?
I think I'm going to ride with Carolina in this one, even though I don't like the fact that we're laying juice on the road with a team that's down 1-0 in the series. But I think this will be a long one. All along, seeing the way the odds have been for Carolina has told me that, all the underlying numbers really like Carolina. They've been very good in the first 2 rounds in the last few years. They've just hit that roadblock in round 3 where they kept on getting swept. But when you think about what they did with the acquisitions at the deadline, finally making something happen and adding a guy like Jake Gensel, I think they're in a pretty good shape to do it. But man, the Rangers look good in that first game. And there's a vibe right now in New York between the Rangers and the Knicks that could potentially carry this team through. But for tonight, I like some pushback from Rod the Bod squad. So I think I am going to lay that minus 120 on Carolina. I might make that the play today because I having seen that first game and knowing how close those games the games are and probably will be. I sort of lean Carolina, although I am worried. Freddie Anderson, he's probably got one more chance here. And then it's, what is it, Kochetkov, I think is the other guy.
Yeah.
Because he's got a sub 900. And Freddie, let's face it, you're going up against Shesterkin. You're going to need, he maybe doesn't have to be stealing games, but you got to be good enough to get the win. And he wasn't in game number 1. So I'm giving Carolina the nod today. I did not bet this game number 1. I wanted to see how it plays out. I think this is going to be back and forth. It would not surprise me if these teams split in New York
split again, yeah,
and split in Carolina. And this series is going 6 or 7. I can tell you that.
Rod Z in the nasty chat says Seth Jarvis anytime goal plus 210. And Mitchie R says, my husband is choked. He has AEW tickets, and I have Violent Femmes tickets for tomorrow. Got to tape the game. Oh, it's tough. It's tough PVR in a playoff game, man. Having to stay out of the mix. It's going to be impossible, especially for AEW. People there are going to be talking about the game. I think the play for me on this Rangers Canes game tonight is probably going to be the under. I think I'm probably going to go with the total here at 5.5. Really interesting, the head-to-head between these teams. And I know I was talking a lot about the head-to-head and the Oilers and the Canucks, and you just witnessed it with the Jets and the Avs. The Oilers-Canucks, as we'll get into a little bit more tomorrow here on the Lock Shop, Vancouver went 4-0 against Edmonton, but the first 3 games were with Woodcroft, and the final game, Connor McDavid didn't play. Yeah. So, you just really can't put any stock into that. Over the last 10 meetings, over the last 2 years between the Rangers and Canes, the Rangers are 8-2 against the Carolina Hurricanes, including just this season. They beat them 2-1. They lost to them 6-1. Then they beat them 1-0. And going back to late spring last year, beat them 2-1 as well. So there have been the 5 of the last 6 games between these two teams, I think, have finished under the total. So I think the play here for me might end up being the under 5.5 on this one. It is crazy. I mean, considering how good the Rangers are, they've already won a game in this series. They haven't lost in the playoffs. You can still get them a plus money at home. Is still pretty damn impressive.
Well, and listen, remember yesterday we were talking on the show about how the futures didn't make sense if you were looking at the series price.
Yeah.
That's flipped. I'm not sure whether that was a legitimate mistake that we just sort of pointed out that you got a great number. But yesterday, if you recall, the Hurricanes were still plus 450 and the Rangers were 6-1. They have not played since then. Rangers are now 5-1 and the Canes have moved to 6-1. So, I mean, it is a real schmozzle. But the one thing that's clear is the Edmonton Oilers are the Cup favorite right now at Coolbet. 4-1 for Edmonton, 5-1 for the Rangers and Stars, 6-1 for the Canes. And listen, the Avalanche number has really come down as well. Like, if you like Colorado, and I know there's probably a lot of people in Edmonton that are not high on Colorado, I sort of am after seeing the number they put on the Jets. 7-1 seems like a great number on the Avalanche, based on what else is around. And as far as the West goes, plus 250, Stars plus 245, and Edmonton plus 175. Again, no respect for the Canucks. The Canucks are still 16-1 and 7-1 to win the West.
There's just nothing there. All right, Colorado, Dallas tonight, Huss. Where do you come out? Colorado hasn't played since eliminating the Jets. Dallas coming in off the 7th game. Now they get to stay at home, like you mentioned earlier. It's a little bit different there. What do you expect from this series? What are you expecting from the game tonight? And is the play Dallas minus 127 at home or the Colorado Avalanche plus 108 on the road?
Well, and again, I'm trying not to overreact too much to what just happened with the Bruins last night, kind of carrying that Game 7 momentum in. Dallas has not traveled. They played Game 7 at home. They've got Game 1 at home. That's the benefits of winning the West. But you are going to have a very well-coached and well-prepared Avalanche team ready to go. I was listening early on. I mean, the games that these teams played this year were actually crazy high scoring. Like, I think they scored 9 in a couple goals. There might have been 11 in one and 6 in the other. I mean, like, they were absolute track meets. I don't think we're going to get that. I think that will be significantly different. And a lot of it, I think, is going to be dictated by Dallas. But, I mean, I know it's been a week or so, and the Avs, listen, if the Avs go on a long run, I think it helps them, in the 3rd round and the 4th round to have that time off in the 1st round. I'm not sure it helps them in this game tonight. So I guess I kind of lean Dallas in this game, but I do think Colorado can win this series. And, getting Game 1 on the road would be a big, big bonus for them to be able to sort of get up one and then get it done. If anything, I know people are expecting, the goaltending and it to be much tighter, but I think there's a reason why this game is 6.5 and all the others are 5.5 or others.
I took the over this morning for the Coolbet hotline of the day on the Nielson show. I mean, you laid it out like this season: 9 goals, 6 goals, 11 goals. Like,
it's the power play right now of Colorado is absolutely nuclear. So I'm kind of ride with you on the over and maybe just maybe. Well, the one thing I am going to do though is I think I'll go plus 104 on Avalanche for the series, which is interesting that it's plus 108, I guess, because it's a road game, that factors both in, but the series price and the game price tonight are very similar. But man, the more I think about this, I tried to just forget about Nathan McKinnon and Cale Makar for the last week after what they did to the Jets. Oh, those guys are so good, and they're playing at such a high level right now. This is going to be an unbelievable series, I'll tell you that. And again, if Edmonton can do what everyone thinks they're going to do, and that's smash the Canucks and have a short series in 5 games or so, another huge advantage for Edmonton, because this series This series is going to go 6 or 7 for sure. What's the number on? You can see it. Plus 190 on game 6, plus 190 game 7. So everyone thinks this is going to be a long one.
Huss, what's coming up at Winnipeg Sports Talk, buddy?
Well, I'll ask Tom Gazzola what his monthly budget for grooming products is. And see if we can get an answer to that. No, we're actually going to set up Oilers Canucks, talk a little bit of what's happening around the NHL in the playoffs with Tommy. Mike McIntyre is going to come on, and we'll get into a more extensive discussion about the Jets. Well, first of all, Rick Bonus's time here in Winnipeg, but obviously we move on to who the next head coach is and all of the guys that are out there on the board. And we're going to check in with a little Blue Jays talk as well, as the Jays start a series tonight. And I guess, it's easy for us to spend a lot of time talking about the playoffs right now, but we are going to be getting into more summer where it's Jays time. Hopefully they'll be playing better by the time we really start focusing in. They are in Philly tonight, though, to take on the Phillies. Jays plus 105, Phillies minus 123. So we got some Jays talk as well on the program today. It should be a good one.
All right, buddy. You have a good show, man. We'll chat tomorrow.
Take it easy.
There you go. That is Huss, Winnipeg Sports Talk. Check out their content as well. Before we go, by the way, quickly, Tommy Gazzola rink report coming up over on the Edmonton Sports Talk YouTube channel here. If you are on YouTube, right here. If you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, or EdmontonSportsTalk.com, Tommy does have a rink report with Ryan McLeod today, I believe. So watch for that to be posted at some point. And hey, ask and we shall deliver for you. Jake says that they've got EvDog on player totals for the Oilers and Canucks series. Should be up by some time this afternoon. So listen, we've asked for those player totals for the series. They're going to give them to us. They'll be up this afternoon. So what do you say we go hammer the over on all of those ones for the Edmonton Oilers in this series? So watch for those. They'll be posted over at Coolbet. If you're not yet signed up for an account at Coolbet, use the code LOCKSHOP when you do. You get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. Fun show today. 2 guys and a goalie coming up with myself and Cass and Gager. Lots to get to. Full series preview with those 2 guys. And, the bigger, hotter headlines for Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. Take a look at Travis Green landing in Ottawa. Sheldon Keefe, is he going to be done in Toronto? We'll get to all of those as we continue to work our way through the day here on Edmonton Sports Talk. If you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, please tell your friends how easy it is to download those free apps and consume our static-free content. If you've been watching on YouTube, make sure autoplay is on. I'll take you right on over to 2 guys. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Lock Shop today. Best of luck tonight, and we will talk to you tomorrow.